to the closing beat, everybody. Happy Monday. How's it going out there? Hope you're having a good day here today. Kind of hard not to have a good day with the markets going higher. Hey, we're financial advisors here at Jazz Wealth. We cover the stock markets for our customers and for you guys here to decide to join us. We hope you'll check us out at jazzwealth.com. We work with everybody of all sizes. A little investment company, just growing little by little. Also, we're playing a game. It's called Guess the Dow, sort of a way to play along if you'd like. If you're not one of our customers, or if you are, you can go to jazzwealth.com/guess the Dow. If you are the closest without going over, we'll give you a $100 gift card, or we will credit your account $100 if you're one of our customers. You can also use it to start the account technically, but nobody does that. Anyways, that's what we've got. We're going back in time a little bit for our Jazz Artist of the Week. We're going to go with Stan Getz. I don't know if you've ever had a little Stan Getz, but I'm kind of a Chet Baker fan, so we're going to go with the song Stan Met Chet, or Stan Meets Chet, I think it was, just so you get a little flavor of both worlds there. But anyways, check it out if you're interested in just hanging out. It's kind of a rainy day down here in Florida, so maybe a little night to just sit around, let the rain fall, a little jazz music. Hey, let's talk about the stock markets here today because you got a lot going on. I want to make sure we get to all of it, of course. It's Monday, so full of energy, ready to cover a whole lot. 900 points on the Dow. That's about 3.85% to the upside, 3% on the S&P, 2.5% on the NASDAQ. For once, the NASDAQ actually lagged behind here today. Let's take a look at what we got. You've got the Russell 2000, by far the strongest out of the major indices, almost by double. Russell 2000 nearly up 7% on the day. NASDAQ obviously up, let's call 2.5%, 4% on the Dow. So obviously the Russell just blew it away. It was good. You had people wanting to take risk. And in fact, if you look inside of the Russell, it's all the value areas, right? So, in particular. Anyway, strongest by far, banks and REITs inside of the Russell. If you happen to be participating or have any banks or REITs that fit inside the Russell 2000, well, they did well today. They were the biggest contributors overall inside the index there. NASDAQ was the weakest overall, although it still had a good day, 2.5% higher on the day. You know why? Why was it not the strongest? And it's because names like Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, which is Alphabet, they all underperformed the major indices there. So even, I'm just looking at the NASDAQ, right? So Microsoft up 1%, NASDAQ obviously up more. So the big guys that brought us up here to these highs, they sort of underperformed today. And so everything else was able to help get things going, but not a big rock star rally in the NASDAQ there. And then I just want to point out in the Dow real quick, Boeing up almost 13% on the day. They recovered 5 days worth of losses. Last week, remember I mentioned on Friday, they lost over 10% on the week. All of it, recovered all of it, all in one day, and then some, really. So kind of an impressive thing there. So what's going on? Well, last night you had the Fed chairman come out and said, well, we have plenty of ammunition to continue supporting the economy and everything. So they got plenty of ammunition. It was on 60 Minutes, and he basically said, in order to come out of this virus economically, we're probably going to need a vaccine. What do you know? Moderna comes out and says, hey, we have a vaccine, and we're in phase 2 trials here. That's actually looking pretty good. What did I type wrong there? There we go. It's Monday. When you haven't typed for 2 days on this thing. Moderna comes out and says, we've got a vaccine. Now, it's phase 1. If you're familiar with the biotech stuff, I can touch on it. I don't like talking about it too much. But Moderna says, we're in the middle of phase 1. We're not done with phase 1 trials yet. We're in the middle of it, and things look promising. Well, obviously the stock takes off there. They also mentioned that we hope to be to the end of phase 3, getting way ahead of ourselves, phase 3 by the July time period, and they said we've already started moving everything off our production. We're going to start producing as much of our drug as possible. Boy, I hope it works out with these initial phase 1 beginning level trials you're doing on people. Anyways, the stock market liked what it heard, didn't even question what the drug was. They just said, fine, you got a great vaccine there. Well, we just heard President Jerome Powell say we're going to need a vaccine. These guys probably have one, and they're willing to produce a ton of it. Holy cow, recipe for a rally today. And I think if you look at the details inside of what's going on there with that drug, you'll find that, wow, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, aren't we? Doesn't matter. That's what happened today. So that's what you got going on there. Now, take that news, add to it the fact that you got Delta reporting they're going to start some new routes, some of their bigger, heavier routes that have been suspended or cut back. They're going to start working on getting those things done there. You got Disney. Disney. They're going to be opening up Disney Springs and such, and they're working on slowly reopening. We've seen some pictures of the theme parks and how they're going to have you standing around and stuff. They're doing what they got to do there. So obviously that's good news. Apple now has, I believe, over 100 stores reopen, and they're working on plans to get more stores open around the world. So that stock was higher on the day. Add all of that to the mix and you go, all right, we're not looking too bad here, right? People get kind of excited about the idea of an economy getting back on track. And I hope for those of you, obviously, that it does. Here's the thing about the stock market. It gapped higher by 2% on the day. So your kind of interesting stat of the day had a gap higher of 2%, over 2% on the S&P 500. When that happens, almost every single time, there are only 4 times where that has not led to a rally that was bigger than 2%. In other words, if we gap up 2% or more, only 4 times did we finish below that or negative, right? Every other time we finished higher on the day. So what it tells you, and I know I've covered this in the past, so there's nothing new to some of you, but if you see a gap in the stock market of 2%, that's not one you want to bet against. That wouldn't be the day to play contrarian in the market, so maybe that'd be a little lesson for you. It actually finishes above 2%, 73% of the time. And that happens, and today will be the 12th time that we've gapped up by 2% and finished higher on the day and not finished below that. So kind of interesting there. You look at some of the airline stocks, or some of the stocks in the index there, you're going to have airline stocks. United Airlines being one of the better performer ones in the mix there. You've got your cruise line stocks, Norwegian Cruise Lines. You got your trip stocks, economic sensitive stocks there. Expedia on the day. Marriott Hotels, Choice Hotels, or Host Hotels. Royal Caribbean, also some of your leaders in the S&P 500. That is solidly a risk-on type position, right? So people are just no longer scared, at least as of today, of the economy and everything going on there. Speaking of the economy and your dough, in the Outside the Virus show today, we talked about your credit reports, credit utilization rate, if you're interested in that. We also talked about earnings on deck from Lowe's, Home Depot. We've got Walmart coming up, Urban Outfitters, not Kroger. Got others in there as well. Kohl's, that was the other one. So we covered that. In our FinTips video earlier today, we covered building a perfectly flat portfolio. What if you just built a portfolio that didn't go up or down with the market, or that was the goal? What would you do that for? Why would that be in there? Anyways, let's go to your sector breakdown here if we can. Oops, nope, there we go. Consumer staples, although they were positive on the day, they did drag overall with the considering the other sectors on the day. You had every sector higher on the day. You had 6 of them higher by 4% or more. So really strong day sector-wise. And XLP, if you're looking at the consumer staples, dragged a little bit, which is interesting because if you look, let's just look through some of the stocks here that are on the bottom of the list of performers in the S&P. Campbell Soup, down 5% on the day. Kind of a consumer staple. Clorox, down 2% on the day. That's interesting. So it's supposed to be like a consumer staple. General Mills, lower on the day there as well. I believe Pepsi came back. Nope, not quite. So Pepsi lower on the day as well. Kellogg's lower on the day. So you get the point. Consumer staples, things that are sort of low, slow, and boring really were that today because everybody was chasing risk, right? Everybody had to go move towards risk. They were excited to do that. Energy be your leading sector today. That's going to be because of the price of oil. I'm officially done with the oil trade as of today that we mentioned the other day. Price of oil higher by 10%. Well, after hours, it's up a little bit, but it basically was up 9% on the day. Energy up 8%. Very, very well. A very, very strong move there in energy today, and looking pretty good there. I like it. You got industrials higher on the day. Very big move for them, and more so a big reversal to the upside there if you're taking a look. It's going to be airlines in the mix. We mentioned a few of them already. United Airlines up 21% on the day. Alaska up 13%. Alaska Airlines anyways. Delta 13%. Mentioned that already. And Southwest Airlines 13.5%. People just trying to pick off the bottoms there. So industrials looking good. I also want to point out a couple names here. Honeywell back above the 50-day moving average, looking strong there. General Electric, nice reversal day. I mean, I know it's a cheaper kind of stock and not everybody likes that sort of thing, but looking pretty good there. And obviously a good reversal day. See if that can hold for people that like that. Financials. We finished the challenge and the financials literally the day after our little Stock Madness challenge is over. Financials take off, up 5% on the day. Last Thursday, now we know, was the reversal hint. We kind of pointed that out on Thursday. That's good. You want to see it hold, and you would now look at that and say, okay, it has held. It looks good. You want to participate there. The bigger names in the group. JP Morgan up 5% on the day. Berkshire Hathaway, which is the biggest holding inside the XLF, a good day for them, up 3.5% on the day. And Bank of America, Bank of America also back above the 50-day moving average at a 7% on the day, looking good. What's interesting is in the financials, your strength was weak and your weak was strength. I don't know if that makes sense, but BlackRock is a good example. Ultimately overperforming or outperforming the sector, the financial sector. So in the midterm here, it's outperformed the sector. Today, it did not. So all your strength and stronger areas did not. Allstate's another one. Allstate, not American Airlines. Outperformer here in the midterm. It did come back towards the end of the day there, but ultimately you saw that just like you see in the stock market. The strength, like your Microsoft and things that we mentioned earlier, took sort of the day off. They played along, but they sort of took the day off, and your weakness came and played catch up there just a little bit. So the same happening is inside the bank sector if you're interested in that. All right, healthcare also took the day off. This, I believe, was your worst performing sector of the day. It was still positive on the day, but it comes in 11th place in terms of performance today. Look, if you look inside of it, you got names like Johnson & Johnson, flat on the day. The leaders, typically the leaders in this area, flat. So 0.05% on the day for that one. United Healthcare, 0.82, so a small gain on that one as well. Pfizer and Merck in the mix. Also, you might look at the Dow and say the same thing, but Pfizer, same sort of thing going on right there. You just had those names not participate today, and that's okay if they want to take a break. Gold down 1.3% on the day, a little bit of pressure as people take their money out of that and go put a little risk on in the short term. They're cool with doing that. Moving on to your technical breakdown here today, you got 21 new highs in the mix. Newmont is going to be one of them, although it did pull back in the short term. Netflix is another. You notice how I didn't say all of those stocks were weak today, although Netflix was. It did hit new 52-week highs, and Chipotle doing well, 2.75%. That's going to be all new highs for that one as well. Home Depot was the one we mentioned the other day, is right here just trying to break out of this last previous high. Did it today, 2.5%. Just careful on that one. You have, that's weird, earnings on Home Depot. Careful with Home Depot. And then you got Thermo Fisher as well. You got 0 new lows on the day. Kind of hard to imagine new lows after something like what we saw today. And it's really tough, like the technical patterns. I want to start pointing out more of these things to you, but right now, everything kind of has been choppy, right? So we've moved sideways or sort of sloppy for the last couple weeks here. So when there's one big move, you go, okay, we moved to the top of the range. Does that mean we're going to break out of the range, or do we just move back to the top and we're going to come back down? So it's a little bit difficult in there. You could pick on weakness if you like. Your Royal Caribbeans, Carnival, Marriott, things like that stick out maybe, but other than that, I don't have a whole lot to offer there. Amgen. Remember, Amgen was that one that's kind of holding up for the breakout right now. So look at this series of highs here. It's trying. It's moved sideways all through in here, and finally, maybe it's going to work its way over those highs. A little extra help in the drug space from them might do well. So those two are really the interesting ones, and we'll move on to the news of the day. Tesla informed their employees that all the California plant's going to reopen. They come on by. Zillow resumes their home buying program. This is where they just buy the home from you, fix it up and flip it, or sell it to somebody else. They're getting that started in just a couple different markets. Disney, we mentioned, already going to be reopening, and Camping World is doing a one-time special dividend. Camping World shares did hit new 52-week highs today, up 12% on the day. Special dividend of 7 cents a share. I don't know if they have a history of doing that, but actually, there's some conflicting reports there. Looks like 7 cents a share. Anyways, moving on here, you got earnings coming out tomorrow. It's a kind of a busy week if you like retail earnings. Advanced Auto Parts Auto Home, which is one of the more volatile names for earnings, if you're going to be looking at that stock, Auto Home, ATHM. Home Depot, which ranks as one of the least volatile names on the day. So if you have it, you know you're not expecting to see a 40% gap up or down. You got Walmart, which ranks as the least volatile stock tomorrow. They'll be reporting earnings in the morning. And then you've got Urban Outfitters, which ranks as the volatile name out of the mix. And, you know, that's maybe to be understandable for them. Urban Outfitters obviously having some issues there with their stores and, you know, retail. It's just a tough place to be. So that'll be the most volatile stock. Dividends, you got Target, 66 cents, Marathon Petroleum, 58 cents, Walgreens, Boots Alliance paying out 46 cents, and Aflac paying out 28 cents. That'll wrap it up for a Monday here. Got a lot going on. Going to be a pretty busy week. I'll take your questions here, see what I can do, and hang out with you guys for a little bit, and we'll take it from there. All right, let's see what we got. Buying the VTI, that's what you like there. Why not the other ones? Why not look at a different ETF? Maybe grows a little bit more, just like Vanguard. Still hanging on to your Tesla there, like it. Tesla, it's been quiet in the last couple of days, but boy, what an interesting stock there. Should you sell Moderna? Well, ask it, where would you sell it? Right? You got to know where you're going to get out. Let's just say you invested in something, and in one day you grew 20%. I mean, what are you waiting for? What if it was up 30% today? Would you have sold it? What if it was up 40%? Where's the magic number? What are you looking for? So you always got to define that ahead of time. You really do. You know, if you're in the stock now, guessing if you should get out, you're probably too late, right? You always want to be on offense. When that stock goes up, then I'm going to get out at this price or whatever. Actually, Cody beat me on that too. He was in my oil trade, and he got out at a better price than I did. I don't care. I had that order ready to go to get out if oil spiked. Same thing. You don't worry about picking off the top, or if someone does better than you. What kind of a return are you looking for? You got a very, very good return. Yep. Watching me for a year. It's been a long time. Yeah, well, I appreciate you watching. I like that you're learning. Yeah, there are now 8 different vaccines being tested in humans. So the fact that one of them had promising studies during their phase 1, or promising results during phase 1, this is why I don't like the biotech stocks. Just can't do it. Is computer trading solely responsible for overnight gaps? Absolutely not. No. No. Do you know if you can file for tax loss if you sell Google and buy? Nope, it's the same. No. Your platform will automatically do that. By the way, if you're asking that question, ask the platform that you're working on. Call them up or whatever you do. I don't know how you reach out to them, and just say, hey, is this a substantially similar, or I forget the words at the moment, but you want to ask them that, and they'll look it up and see what their system's going to do. Yep. Oh yeah. Second crash coming? I don't see a second crash coming, but I would say, yeah, it would be totally fair to see a pullback. I don't think the mood is there right now for a crash. Obviously, everybody's comfortable with the way things are going. I don't think you see crash. We didn't technically crash the first time either, but, no, I don't see a crash. Will Wells Fargo cut or reduce their dividend? As of now, they say no. They're not going to do it. As of now, they want to keep it. Yep. You wonder how much the vaccine will cost if we had one. Oh, well, maybe the government will just pay for it, They're paying for everything else right now. Maybe they'll just say, hey, this one's on us. Agree or disagree? There you go. I'll throw that. There you go. I just throw that bomb, and I'll leave you guys with that. How about that? All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. I do appreciate you guys coming. We'll have to do maybe an evening just only questions, right? And just talk, and we'll show everything. I've been thinking about doing that just so it's kind of like we could just answer questions for fun, hang out for a while, maybe just do it over there or something. So it's a consideration. But for right now, I do appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll wrap it up there and enjoy the rest of your Monday. See you later.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.